So let's go back to that story I was talking about earlier, where other East African Community member countries presented their respective national budgets today as well. Rwanda, however, postponed the reading of its budget until later on in the month. And here's Brian George with Otieno with those details on how the EAC member states' budgets compare.
The member states of the East African Community are bound by the Economic Blocs Treaty to present their respective national budgets concurrently. However, out of the 6 member states, only 3 presented their national budgets Thursday. Kenya's budget currently stands tallest than the rest of the East African countries. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Ukur Yatani laid out the $33.3 billion budget, which loosely translates to $3.6 trillion budget, expected to cement the legacy of Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta's 10 years in office. The money will be sourced from loans and grants totaling to 1.63 trillion shillings. Total revenue at 2.04 trillion shillings, with Kenya Revenue Authority expected to raise 1.77 trillion shillings in the new financial year through ordinary taxes. Key areas of focus for the Kenya's budget are on economic recovery, President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda on affordable housing, manufacturing, food security and universal health care. Particular focus is being given to vaccination as Kenya set aside $133 million or 14.3 billion shillings for the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. Kenya's biggest trade partner, Uganda's budget stands at $12.6 billion, which also loosely translates to 44.7 trillion Uganda shillings. The budget was presented by Amos Lugo Lobi, the newly appointed Minister of State for Planning. Uganda too has huge emphasis on agriculture, manufacturing and post-COVID recovery and vaccination, with $159 million or 560 billion Uganda shillings allocated towards purchase of vaccination. To the south of Kenya in Tanzania, according to the 2021-2022 budget framework and national development plan, the government plans to collect and spend a total of 36.3 trillion Tanzanian shillings. The day-to-day running of the government affairs will receive the lion's share of the budget with an allocation of 23 trillion Tanzania shillings this time. Development expenditure will consume about 13.3 trillion Tanzania shillings. Although Rwanda did not present its fiscal budget, its proposed budget by 12 May 2021 stood at about $3.79 billion or 3.8 trillion Rwandan francs for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. The budget that starts operating from 1st July 2021 is set to drive economic growth and revive the economy following shocks from the COVID-19 pandemic. The budget, which represents a 9.8% increase from the revised budget of the current fiscal year 2020-2021, will be guided by the National Strategy for Transformation Program 2017 to 2024 and economic recovery efforts against the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Finance Minister Richard Tusabe will present the budget at a later date in June 2021. Burundi, whose financial calendar begins in January, and South Sudan were both given time by the EAC Council of Ministers to adjust the reading of their budgets in harmony with the rest of the partner states. Brian George, Otieno, KTN News, Nairobi.
And that's a 360 look at how Budget Day panned out today, covering the various angles for you right here.